Hello. We're going to talk about the director's duties and responsibilities of the directors of a company in Hong Kong. Very quickly over their powers and then into their duties and responsibilities. So on we go. Directors have got certain powers. So those powers in general are to manage the business of the company, the affairs of the company, to bind the company, i.e., sign contracts, to direct the company's actions, so telling staff what to do. They can delegate these activities, but it's important to note that their responsibility stays with the directors. So if they hire a chief technical officer, well, they're still responsible for that, what that officer does. And it's important to note that certain items will always still require shareholder approval. The kind of sources of these powers, the director's appointment letter may be very clear in what the director can and cannot do. Equally, sometimes the shareholders' agreements actually talk about the director's responsibilities as well. Now, the director may not have signed that, but I think that's still a good source of inspiration for what the director should do. Company law itself is explicit on this is what a director should do, especially its responsibilities. And there may also be a specific direction from the shareholders via resolution. And by that, I mean the shareholders may meet or sign a resolution that says, dear directors, you will do this. You will issue shares, for example. The responsibilities are a much bigger thing and are very important to understand. The most significant ones are the directors should always act in good faith for the benefit of the company. So the company comes first, essentially, especially not the director first. They should act for a proper purpose for the benefit of the members as a body. So they're not acting for an individual shareholder. They're not taking actions that would benefit one shareholder only. Say one shareholder was a supplier and they were choosing to repay that supplier before repaying other creditors. The directors have to act for the members as a whole, as a body. Where they delegate activities, they've got to still have independent judgment over it. They've got to exercise care, skill, and diligence, and those are legal words out of the various laws. They should always avoid conflicts of interest. So if they're entering into transactions, say selling assets, for them to buy that asset, they should make sure that that is third party and is done at an arm's length. And importantly, is disclosed. It's not about being independent and avoiding conflicts of interest. It's to make sure that you have absolute transparency so no one can accuse you of that. You should avoid gaining advantage from the position of director. So if you see information and maybe trade on it or advise other people, or you abuse power information, that's what you shouldn't do as a director. You shouldn't obtain third-party benefits, so maybe receiving additional fees from suppliers or customers. That is a massive, massive no-no. You need to obey what the company documents and the resolution the shareholders say. And most importantly, what we see missed is you should keep proper books of account. The accounts need to be done on a regular basis. And as a director, you should be able to say, this is the state of the company at this point in time. Key messages. Documentation is very important. Even if it's your own company, make sure you minute these things. You have these board meetings, these resolutions. Make sure you have separation between the actions as a director and as a member. And the director, remember, acts for all of the members as a body. Keep proper books of account. And vitally, make sure you keep remembering as a director, you have responsibility and indeed you have liability. As always, any questions, please feel free to give me a shout. Thank you.